Millions of them. You take up like 11, soon to be 12. That's crazy. I reference how many cousins I have in my gratitude speech. Million.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us this morning to celebrate Shabbat and the B'nai Mitzvah of JJ and Valerie Filanowitz. For those of you who are here every week, and for those of you whom this is your first time at Temple Beth El, welcome. We are so glad that you are here this morning. Our service is going to be led by JJ and Valerie, who will also chant Torah and offer their own interpretations of our sacred text. If you would like to follow along, the words of the prayers will be projected onto either wall. If you're old school and you want a book in front of you underneath your seats, there is also a siddur or a prayer book. And you'll see on the bottom of each of the slides, there's a page number that corresponds to the page that is in the book, if you want to follow in the book. We welcome everyone's participation, no matter your background, no matter if this is your first time at a bar mitzvah or your millionth. You are welcome to participate however you feel comfortable. The beauty of a Jewish ceremony is that a yainai and some clapping, offbeat or onbeat, is entirely welcome. So however you want to participate, we absolutely welcome that. And I'll ask at this time, we want everyone to be as present and as focused as possible. So if you wouldn't mind just double checking to make sure that your cell phone is turned off or silenced and put away so it's not a distraction. And lastly, Valerie was just saying that it's so exciting to look out into this congregation and see so many faces of loved ones, of friends, of family who have traveled from near and far. And we know that your grandparents, Mima and Dad, unfortunately are not able to be here but are watching via Zoom. So at this time, I'm going to ask everyone to actually turn around and look at the cameras and just say, Shabbat Shalom, Mima and Dad. Shabbat Shalom. Wonderful. And with that, it is my pleasure to invite JJ and Valerie to lead us in prayer.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama. Shenata bi Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Ata Virata, Ata Yitzarta, Ata Nifakta, Nifakta bi. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama. Shenata bi tehorahi, tehorahi. Ata mishamera ve'ata mishamera. Ata mishamera, mishamera yikiri. Hi Elohai neshama, Elohai Elohai neshama, Shenata tabi tehorahi, tehorahi.
Time in the service where we can think about people in our lives who are in need of healing. Sometimes we think of people who need physical healing, like for sickness or injury, and sometimes it is for emotional healing. In the Mishabera we sing at Temple Bethel, we pray for healing in both Hebrew and English. In the line of the prayer that means the most to me is a line that talks about God as a source of strength. In Judaism, we talk about God in a lot of different ways. In our prayers, sometimes we use metaphors to help us understand God's relationship to us. For example, in other prayers, we talk about God as a helper or as a redeemer. In Mishabera, we talk about God as a source of strength, because that is what we are praying for God to give strength to people in our lives who need it. In this way, God can be an anchor for those who need strength. The rest of the line continues, may the source of strength who blessed the ones before us. It gives me hope to think about the way God has blessed my ancestors and gave them strength. It makes me feel like it is possible that people I am praying for can have healing and strength too. This prayer is especially relevant to my life because my grandfather is in need of healing. At services, the rabbis and cantors usually ask people to say the names of people who need healing out loud. I think this is a special practice because by saying the names out loud, it helps create community. I feel less alone when I see someone else is praying for their loved one's healing. Even if I don't always say my grandfather's name out loud, I will always think of him when I sing this prayer and hope he will have a fast recovery.
Shortly, we will be chanting the Ve'ahavta, which is a prayer about the different ways that we can show, rather than tell, or say that we are Jewish. The Ve'ahavta is one of the few prayers that is a direct quote from the Torah. You can also find it in mezuzah scrolls, which are hung in Jewish homes and buildings. The Ve'ahavta reminds me of the saying, Judaism is a religion of action far more than it is a religion of belief. We see this in the Ve'ahavta because the prayer is all about how we need to take heart to God's instructions by observing God's commandments. For example, the Ve'ahavta tells us that we need to recite God's instructions when we lie down and when we rise up, when we sit at home and when we are away, and to write them on our doorposts of our houses and on our gates. We are also told that it is important to teach God's commandments to our children, which is another example of doing and not just saying. Even though I don't do all the things that the Ve'ahavta says, like inscribing God's words on my hand or on my doorposts or gates, I feel connected to this prayer because I am at a moment in my life where I am learning how to be Jewish. I am also showing my Judaism through everyday actions such as reciting prayers, donating money as tzedakah, and being kind to others.
La
Adonai Elohecha b'chol levava uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzaveha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibartam bam B'shivteha bebeteha uvlefteha vadere ushokbeha uvkumeha uvshartam leot al yadeha v'hayu letotafot b'neineha uvtartam al mezuzot beiteha uvishareha leman tiskeru Va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'Eloheihem. Ani Adonai Eloheihem asher hotzei et yatem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Eloheihem. You have stayed long enough in this place, God said. Time to go forward. Turn your face to the future. Believe that you can cross the sea and survive. Inside you is a Moses. Within you, Miriam dances, unafraid. Lift up your voice and sing a new song. Ya la la.
שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים ושמחה שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Sur Yisrael Kuma Bezrat Yisrael ופדך נעמך יהודה בישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל
Agi Tehillah Techa. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu B'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor B'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'chonei Hakol, V'socher Hasdei Avot B'Imaot, Humevi Gula L'nei B'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Hava. Mele Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magin. Baruch Atah Adonai, Magid Abraham, Yitzhak Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol, Rav Le'Hoshia, Morid Hatah. Mechachel Chaim Behesed, Mehaye Hakol B'Ra'im. Somen Nofelim V'Rochei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umechaye Emunato, L'Shenei Afar, Milchamocha Ba'al Geburot, Umido Melech, Melech Mimi, Umachaye, Umatzmiya Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah Hayot Hakol. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mehaye Hakol.
Nekadesh et Shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, kakatu al yad neviyeha, v'kara ze'el ze v'amar, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh,
Adonai Tzivaot, Melech kol haaretz, Kivoto.
Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Ma'adir Shimcha b'chol haaretz.
Baruch Kivod Adonai, Mimkomo.
Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, v'hu Yashmienu, b'rahama le'inei kol hai. Ani Adonai Eloheihem,
Yimloch Adonai leolam, Elohai Yitzyon, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah.
Ledor vador nagid goleha, unitan nitzahim kedushaha nagdish, v'shivhaha Eloheinu, mepinu lo yamush leolam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Shabbat, Yisnehu v'malachutcha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat, Yisnehu v'malachutcha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. Shabbat.
Kemdot Yamim, Oto Karata.
Shabbat. Yismehu v'malachutzecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismehu v'malachutzecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat.
Zeher Lemase Bereshit.
Shabbat.
Zeher Lemase Bereshit.
Shabbat. Yismehu v'malachutzecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismehu v'malachutzecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. We now take time for silent prayer.
We now move into our Seder HaKriyat HaTorah, our Torah service, in which JJ and Valerie will read from the Torah and offer their own reflections on our ancient text. But in order to place the Torah into your very capable hands, we are first going to recognize the Shalshelet HaKabbalah, the unbroken chain of tradition. We recognize all the hands that have held our tradition and passed it down from generation to generation until today. So at this time, I would like to invite up to the bima Zach and Joanne Halm to open the ark, and Ash and Zoe Halm to undress the Torah. So you're going to come join us, and you're going to hang out up here on the bima. And I would also like to invite for our Torah Pass, Carolyn Ramey, Bo and Ginny Fulanowitz, David Fulanowitz, Susan Fulanowitz, Rosalind Liederman, Jennifer Taylor, Heather Douglas, and Melissa and Joe Fulanowitz to please line up on the bottom step right here. And as we open the ark, I will invite the congregation to please rise.
Zion, Titzei Torah, Midbar Adonai Yerushalayim. Zion, Titzei Torah, Midbar Adonai Yerushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo, Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Bikdushato Kitzion. Titzei Torah, Midbar Adonai Yerushalayim. Kitzion, Titzei Torah, Midbar Adonai Yerushalayim.
JJ and Valerie, you still there? There you are. Peek your heads out. So I know that the Fulanowitz family is big into reading, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah? That we have some favorite books. Your favorite book in the whole world. How many times have you read it through, you think? More than 5, okay. JJ? You can't count how many. Well, the book that I'm holding in my hands probably looks a little bit different than those books, looks a little different than Percy Jackson or Harry Potter, but it is also an important text in our tradition, an important book. And just like your favorite books that you read over and over again, every time finding something new, something different that you didn't notice before, so too do we take this text and read it over and over and over again. Every single year, we finish the book, and we turn it all the way back to the beginning, and we start again. Because every time we come to this text, the words on the page don't change, but we do. And this morning, we are so thrilled to get to hear your interpretation of our sacred text, to have you add your voices and your perspective to our long chain of tradition. And over the years, you will come back to this text, we pray, and you will find new things. Because while the text doesn't change, we know that you will continue to grow and to learn and to find more wisdom and joy and richness in this Torah every single time you visit it. Because this is a story that has been told to you over and over again from when you were a tiny child, and we know will be an important part of your lives throughout the rest of your life. Ador vador nagid godlecha, from generation to generation, we shall make God's name great.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Adonai Eloheinu, Bein Shechavu, Leharosho,
Please be seated. So JJ will now offer a Devar Torah, JJ's reflections and inspiration from our weekly Torah portion.
My Torah portion is called Ekev, and it is in the book of Deuteronomy. I will be chanting verses 9, 6 through 10 and 11. Okay. This is right before the Israelites go into the promised land and Moses dies. Moses recounts a story of when the Israelites were really stubborn. Moses went up the mountain, waiting for the tablets of the covenant for 40 days and 40 nights. But while he was up there, the people were acting wicked. So God told Moses to go down to the people. They had strayed from the Eternal's path and made a molten image. Moses was so angry that he flung the 2 tablets on the ground, smashing them. Moses recounts how he bowed before the Eternal, eating no bread and drinking no water for 40 days and nights because of the people's wrong. Then he completely destroyed the golden calf and threw it into a river. God called them the stiff-necked people because they were stubborn and disobedient. What I thought was interesting in my Torah portion was Moses' reaction to the Israelites making a golden calf. While many Jewish commentators have suggested that Moses broke the tablets because he was angry at the Israelites because they betrayed him, I think he was actually angry at himself for leaving the people. Maybe he felt guilty for leaving them alone for so long and not being able to guide them to the right path. Without Moses telling them how to follow the Eternal, they probably felt helpless and confused, so they wanted to make something to worship that they could see and touch. God was valuable to them, so they made the calf out of gold, which is materially valuable. Moses cared for the people so much, he placed the blame on himself instead of the Israelites, and wanted to protect them from God's anger. So God blamed him and not the people. A lot of people blame themselves for things that others did, either to protect them or to keep them in good favor, or to try and excuse their bad behavior. I learned from my Torah portion that we shouldn't blame ourselves for the actions of others, because we can only control ourselves. Instead of trying to control a situation, we can provide guidance and support for others who might be making bad choices. I am not always the best at minding my own business, but I am working on knowing when to get involved and when not to. The thing is, I'm often trying to be helpful or keep people from doing things that could get them in trouble. But that still doesn't mean it's my place. An example of controlling what you can control is if someone is doing something that annoys you, instead of telling them to stop, you could walk away from them. Blaming yourself for the harmful actions of others hurts you and the person you're trying to protect. When we take responsibility for others' actions, they are never held responsible and do not learn from their mistakes. As a bar mitzvah, I have learned from my Torah portion that I can only control my own actions and not that of others. And I should learn to help give guidance and tips to others instead of trying to control them or place blame on myself for their actions.
Yasher Koach, beautifully said, JJ. I think that Torah resonates so deeply with many of us that it's so easy to take on the responsibility of others' actions, but remembering when is our place to step up and when is our place to step back is so incredibly important. Well, now that you have taught us Torah, we are thrilled to have the opportunity to hear you chant Torah. For our first Aliyah, it's my honor to call up Joe Filanowitz, Rosalind Liederman, and Jennifer Taylor. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
And we will say Yasher Koach. Can we try that? Yasher Koach. That means great job. So after each of our Torah readings and our aliyot, we will say Yasher Koach, great job to everyone who read so beautifully. Thank you so much.
Ya'amod, 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 Yishai ben Malka v'Yosef.
Ha'olam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Va'erein min ha'chol v'chachol u'er ba'esh u'shem luho ha'verim shetei yada ba'erein v'hinei hatatem v'adonai echachem asitem lahem egel masecha sartem maher michaderem asher tzibah Adonai etchem va'ehosh ishnei cholchol va'ashrei me'ah shetei yadam va'ashavirei le'einechem ve'etnapcha lifnei Adonai charishona 40 יום ו40 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'haye olam nata b'tohenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
My Torah portion, Echad, is in the book of Deuteronomy. In my Torah portion, the Israelites and Moses are about to enter into the promised land, and Moses knows he is about to die. They are on a plateau of Moab, east of Jericho, just across the river Jordan. Moses is retelling everything that has happened to the Israelites so far. First, Moses reminds them that he stayed on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights to get God's blessing for them and to prevent God from destroying them when they made mistakes. God eventually forgave the people and let them resume their journey to the promised land. Moses also recounts the importance of keeping the laws and commandments with all your heart and soul, and in particular, the importance of befriending the orphan, the widow, and the stranger. Something I noticed in my Torah portion is that even though the Israelites made many mistakes, God and Moses always forgave them and granted them another chance. Moses intervened many times for them, but why would he do this if they continue not to listen to him? I think that Moses forgave them because we all make mistakes. But the important thing is that we learn from them, and the trail towards perfection is not always direct, but windy, twisty, with more mistakes along the way. I've made many mistakes in my life, and I work to change those mistakes, even if I wasn't perfect or made that mistake again. A mistake I've made is sometimes I can't let go of small wrongdoings, meaning that I might hold a grudge or against that person or bring it up multiple times. I am working to get better at recognizing when something is not that big of a deal and letting it go. I'm not always perfect, but I'm getting better over time. As a bat mitzvah, I have learned from my Torah portion that it is important to give people multiple chances to be a better version of themselves. Just like how Moses and God forgave the Israelites many times, helped them become better. So we should do the same for everyone in our lives. When we do that, it leads to more trust and kindness in the world.
Beautiful teaching, Mallory. I don't know about you. I never make mistakes. I'm always perfect. So I really, that was beautiful. Absolutely. We are all always learning and always growing, and hope that we have the same graciousness to others as people have for us. Now that you have taught us some beautiful Torah, you are going to also chant from our sacred Torah scroll as well. For our first Aliyah, it's my honor to invite up Melissa Fulanowitz and Heather Douglas.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Ba'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'kaye olam natan b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And we say, Yasher Koach.
Ta'amod, 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 Gabriela bat Malka v'Yosef.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Et Adonai Elohecha Tirah oto ta'avot ulo tifat uvishmo tishameach Tihilatecha v'hu Elohecha asher asa itecha et hagidolot ve'et hanoraot ha'eleh asher rabu einecha b'shivim nefesh yardu avotecha mitama ve'ata shecha Adonai Elohim kechochvei hashamayim la'arot. Baruch et Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et Torah emet, v'hayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
Yasher Koach. Beautifully chanted. Very lovely. And JJ will invite you back up.
Hello.
With the Torah still in our midst, we take a moment, as JJ so beautifully described, as a congregation, every time we worship together, we offer the words of Misha Berach, a prayer for healing of body, of mind, and of spirit. And again, that power of saying the name of a loved one, of thinking of them, of just taking that moment in the midst even of joy and celebration to think of those who are in need of healing. On our screens, we're going to show the names of individuals in our community who are in need of healing. If there is someone that you are thinking of in your life, feel free to share their name aloud as I look around the congregation, or you can also just hold their name in your heart. will now prepare to return our sacred scroll to the Aron HaKodesh, to the Ark. It's my honor at this time to invite up Mike and Julie Nafi to help us open the Ark, and Lizzie Polanowitz to help us dress the Torah. Please rise as we open the Ark.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. לי 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 לי
Please be seated. Lizzie, that was a professional level dressing of the Torah. That was awesome. Very smooth, very impressed. I see a future for you. So we recognize that the incredible work that JJ and Valerie have accomplished today did not happen without the love and support of so many in their lives. So we take a moment for Valerie and then JJ to offer a few words of gratitude.
There are special people that have helped me to this point that I would like to thank. Starting with my martyrdom teachers, helping me learn about the religion and Judaism. I would also like to thank the tutors who helped me understand it even if I felt like giving up, and the clergy who are the ones making it possible for me to be here today for my bar mitzvah. I would also like to thank my friends from school, Temple Bethel, and everywhere else who have made me laugh and cared for me during this process. I appreciate that I have two of my great-grandmothers here and watching. I want to thank Gabo and Grandma for being amazing cooks and always loving me. I would also like to thank Mima and Dada, who can't be here but are still watching, for spoiling me and loving me as much as they could. I am thankful that I have 4 amazing aunts and 3 awesome uncles. I would also like to thank my million cousins, or at least it feels like a million, for always making me laugh and making sure there's something to do. My mom is always making sure that I'm safe, loving me with all her heart, and helping me with writing speeches, planning about mitzvah and party, and so much more. My dad is the funniest dad I know. He always has dad jokes up his sleeve and loves me with all his heart. My brother JJ can always help me with a problem and always has something to play with me and is very loving. My sister Lizzie is always energetic, playful, and too much love. I would now like to thank my brother to say his gratitude speech. I want to thank the Majaheen, tutors, teachers, and clergy for helping me so much along the way and teaching me so much. I want to thank my friends who have always cheered me up and stuck by my side, especially Ash for being my best friend since we were little. You were always with me no matter what. I'm grateful for all my cousins, all 10 of them, because we always have good times together. Thank you to all my aunts and uncles for your support. And my great-grandmothers, Nanny, who's here today, Grammy, who is watching, and Grammy, who is watching from there. I want to thank Grandma, Gabo, Mima, and Dada. Even though Mima and Dada aren't here, I know you're watching. I want to say thank you to my
grandparents for everything you've done for me. It's meant so much to me. Thank you for taking me on trips and spoiling me. Grandma, thank you for making the best cookies, and God bless for your special eggs. Grandma and Dad, thank you for boat rides and fun times with the chickens. Lizzie, even when we fight, you're still my favorite ball of infinite energy. Valerie, I'm glad you're standing by my side next to me on a special day. I want to thank you for helping me, cheering me up with your horrible jokes, and you seem to get nerdier every day, which fits in with the family. Mom, I'm grateful for everything you do for me, always putting up with my shenanigans, and always loving me with all your heart, and always helping me in any way you can. Dad, I'm grateful for how you do your best to help us and try and understand how we feel. Even if you don't always get it right, you keep trying. Thank you for letting us help you with the garden. Also, you might as well be the fourth child because you always act crazy as us kids and you totally encourage our shenanigans. Plus, your horrible jokes always cheer us up. Thank you, everyone. Mom and Dad, please join us on the move.
First of all, I'm so grateful for the way that you two helped our family find a place here at Temple Bethel. When you were very little, Dad and I tried a few different congregations, including this one, but didn't feel like we'd found a place that fit. My Aunt Sherry advised me to follow the children, and so when JJ was in kinder, we signed him up for religious school. That year, and only that year, there was a program offered for 4-year-olds and their parents. Luckily for us, Valerie was 4, and more luckily for us, we met some of our first friends we'd make at Temple Bethel. My own experiences growing up in a Jewish community really shaped who I became as a person. I wanted that for my children, and it makes my heart so full to see you learning the traditions and having the experiences I had as a child. It takes a village, and for me, Reform Judaism was very much a part of that village. It feels like home seeing you two and your sister Lizzie surrounded by the same kind of community. Jordan, you are such a gift to those you come in contact with. You have a huge heart, immeasurable compassion, and a solid moral compass. You told me once when you were a toddler that you chose me to be your mom before you were born. You also told me I chose my mom and thanked me for choosing such a good meemaw for you. You've taught me more about being compassionate and empathetic than I could have ever learned without you. When you were in 2nd grade on a bus ride to a field trip sitting next to Mrs. Rossman, an ambulance went by. You said to her, "I always pray for who they are going to help when I hear a siren like that." When your teacher told me that story, I was stunned. I was humbled and proud of your level of care for others. Your heart is as big as your sense of right and wrong. My hope for you is that you never stop caring for others and striving for justice. Our world is in need of a lot of tikkun olam, and you are just the kind of person to bring change and light. My sweet Valerie, when you were born, you were so quiet. Your eyes were wide open, blinking at the world you just entered, and you were silent. It scared me a little. What I didn't know then was that once you started talking, you'd never stop. And I love it. I love how you always have been a little butterfly flitting around, bringing joy and laughter and keeping things cheerful. I love how much you love puns, dad jokes, and silly riddles. Moreover, I know that in order for a pun to actually be funny, it has to have more than one meaning. And you two are more than just one thing, my thoughtful little bookworm. Your vocabulary has always made me laugh, even when you didn't intend for it to. Like when you were a preschooler and you told me you were literally sitting on the couch, which you were, and you were using the word literally correctly. You have a depth of understanding of words that is matched only by the depth of your feelings. You're my child of big emotions, and even though that isn't always easy, I hope you always feel things with your full self. I hope you never cease to lose yourself in uncontrollable giggles when something strikes you as funny, that you always feel beautiful spinning in a fancy dress, and that you use your way with words to always speak up for yourself and for others.
Well, that's going to be hard to beat. Okay, Jordan and Valerie, first, I'm very proud of you two today. All the work you put in over the last 2 years, all the time, all the practice, all of it. No. Second, I've also seen during this time you continue to be who you've always been. You did something really hard that impacts a lot of your life over the last 2 years, yet you leaned into each of your personal flavor of lives and let that help define who you are on the other side. In shocking news, you are the same JJ and Valerie from before, though the crazy part is you could not be more different from each other. Sibling rivalry aside, of course. JJ, I remember when you were just a little tot walking down the sidewalk at our house of firsts. You were casually collecting small pebbles and rocks, happy as you could be at your newfound treasure. As your hands and your pockets filled up, you were sad as you wanted to collect more. You looked around and found your pants cuff, which immediately became the totally normal place to store more rocks. I love that you are always finding a way to do the thing, often in out of the box ways. I know. Val, you are oh so the same now as you were as a wee tot. You are meticulous with what you want to wear, making sure it is just right for you in that moment. Again, I hark back to the old days when you were a little preschooler and had a near meltdown because Dad didn't pack a fashionable enough set of spare clothes. Fast forward to today, and how many dresses do you have for this occasion? 3. Mm-hmm. This meticulous approach isn't just clothes, but a calculated and methodical approach you take to get where you want to go, which will in turn make this world your oyster. I love you both, and I'll save the rest of the dad jokes for later.
So we know that one of the things that makes today so special is being surrounded by family and friends. And we know how much you wish that your dad and Mima, I got it, yes, there we go, wanted to be here. And so thank goodness we live in a world where there is technology. And so they have been watching via our live stream. But we also have a special blessing from your grandparents for you. So if you can turn this way or that way, just choose one.
I can't believe you're 13 and already it's your bar mitzvah. Time goes by so fast. Enjoy your life and make a difference, no matter how small. We can't express how proud we are. This is no small task, but I know the hard work will be very valuable in your life. Your religious base offers you tradition, family, and support. We are sending Dandad's tallit. You can wear it if you want. Just keep it as a symbol of your heritage. I love you always, Mima. Dear Valerie, or Valerina, time has gotten away from us. Your bat mitzvah is here already. How can that be? I want to start out by saying how proud we are. We've always been. It makes us feel warm inside that you have chosen to carry on your religion and have worked so hard to get here. We hope the lessons you take forward will guide you when needed. We have sent a piece of your Dandad's bar mitzvah as he wore that mezuzah. Love you always, Mima.
Jordan and Valerie, as we celebrate your bar and bat mitzvahs, marking the time you become adults in the Jewish religion, it's been a joy watching you both grow and mature. May you keep your youthful excitement as you continue journeys ahead. Mazel tov to you both.
We have one final blessing to offer you. So I'll invite the congregation to please rise as we open the ark. And I'll invite Lizzie to come join us. Lizzie, we're Lizzie, yeah. So come gather around. That's good. It means we did it right. So in the Talmud, which is basically just a compilation of rabbis having arguments. Now I know in this family there are never any disagreements, never any arguments, right? Of course not. But arguing and disagreeing respectfully is something that's really important in Jewish tradition. And the particular debate that I want to talk about this morning is the question of which is greater, study or action. And the rabbis, okay, but so, do you have answers? You think action, and you think action. Great, okay. Well, the rabbis go back and forth, and ultimately they decide, as you did, that study is greater. But it is because study leads to action. That is what you both, in your own way, taught us this morning, and that you have been demonstrating throughout your lives, through your generosity, your kindness, that deep sense of kavod, of respect, that you enact towards every person who has the privilege to know you. Valerie, you taught us that none of us are perfect, and that we're going to make mistakes. But just as we would want others to forgive us for our mistakes, so too should we forgive others and be gentle with others when they make a mistake. JJ, you taught us the importance of not being too hard on ourselves and taking responsibility and not taking responsibility for the actions of others. You taught us that while all of Israel is responsible to one another, we are not responsible for what someone else does. And sometimes it might feel easier to blame ourselves than others, but ultimately, what both of you were teaching us is the importance of how to give ourselves a little bit of gentleness, to allow ourselves to grow and to mature. And even over the past year, as I have gotten to know the two of you, I have seen the ways in which you have grown and matured and really come into being your whole selves. And we are so blessed to have the opportunity to be a part of that journey, and we look forward to many, many more years of being on that path with you. Now, leading up today, you were immersed in a lot of study. My blessing for the two of you is that throughout your lives, you continue that endeavor of studying, that exploration of our tradition, and that you don't just take that study and hold it, but that you live it out in the world, that it leads you to action. Action that helps you be the best version of yourselves, action that helps you create a more whole and peaceful world in the way that we know that you will. So we will offer the oldest blessing in the Jewish tradition, the words of Birkat Kohanim, the priestly benediction. So we'll need our congregation to help us out. So Cantor Roskin will sing the blessing. There's 3 blessings altogether. She'll sing the first part, each part in Hebrew. I'll offer an English translation. And then the congregation, you will respond with the words, Ken Yehi Ratzon. Can we try that? Ken Yehi Ratzon. Excellent.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'choneka.
May the face of God shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom.
As you continue on your Jewish journey, as you continue on life's journey, every step of the way, may you feel God's presence. May you find comfort in community, in family, and may God grant you with the greatest gift of all, that of shalom, of peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon. We remain standing as we transition to Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'teit gedula le'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We turn our thoughts to those who are no longer with us, but whose memories live on in our heart each and every day. As a congregation, we're thinking of the following individuals who are in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days since their passing. Arnold Greenfield, Linda Harkavy, Ellen Lipson, Sabina Markel, Billy Merkelson, Paula Musler, Albert Soforenko, and Robert Winters. Commemorating a yahrzeit, the anniversary of their passing, we remember Sadie Beck, Eleanor Bine, Stan Beitcher, Hannah Blumenthal Brown, Helene Cohen, Gloria Coleman, Ruth Herman Diamond, Helen Drowen, Doris Feinsmith, Arthur Finken, Max Philip Finkelstein, Bernard Frank, Anne Elizabeth Garson, Harriet Coyle Gimple, Jean Goldberg, John Gose, Hanley Green, Reed Hefner, Edward Holzberg, Selma Gelbring Kaplan, Paul Kaufman, Catherine H. Kerr, Stephen Klein, Toby Kritzer, Jack Laster, Hilda Moss, Louise Maniloff, Pascal Marinson, Eva Coleman Miller, Sandra Moore, Carl Nalaboff, Daniel Mietenberg, Monroe Newell, Alan Phillipson, Rosalie Popper, Mortimer Wright, Roy Richardson, Benjamin Rychek, Carl Romanoff, Goldie Rosenblum, Albert Shear, Francis Schmuckler, Erin Gilly Schrader, Mary Jane Silverman, Leah Strauss, Julia Strauss, Nathan Wallace, and William Zimmer. The Filanowitz family, on a sacred day today, are also holding in their hearts family members who they have lost, Paul Ramey and Albert Soforenko. I'll invite the entire congregation to please rise to offer support and comfort to all who are in need. Yitzgadal, v'yitzkadash shmei Rabbah. Alma tibrach hirotei yamlit malchutei. V'chayechon uvyomechon uvchayei t'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'zman hariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah v'varach le'olam almei omayim. Yitzbarach v'yishavach v'yitzba'ar v'yitzromah v'yitzmaseh. V'yit'adar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal shmei t'kudsha b'richud. Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiram b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mroma. Hu ya'asei shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru. Amen.
Please be seated, and it's my honor to invite the Polanowitz family up to help lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. So you're going to head that way. All right, so before we do anything, I want you to take a nice big deep breath in and out. Now we get to celebrate. So if everyone wants to grab a Kiddush cup.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll join together in the words of Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. And Liz, you want to come take the challah cover off? Beautiful.
Who doesn't?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon, and as you nom on your challah, what better treat to end your B'nai Mitzvah with than challah? We take a moment to offer gratitude and to celebrate reaching this occasion with the words of Shechiah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'nigiyanu b'zman hazeh. Mazel Tov and Shabbat Shalom. We are so proud of you. You did a beautiful job. Thank you so much for joining us. Shabbat Shalom. If you are joining for the party afterwards, we will just remind you that there will be a bus outside for any kids who are headed to the party afterwards. There will be a bus outside, a JCC bus. But otherwise, we just want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for being here to celebrate the Polanowitz family. Shabbat Shalom.
Can I take the bus?
Well, we're gonna take a picture.